Several years ago, my boyfriend and I had just gotten engaged. My grandparents were very happy and invited us to celebrate this event for a week in their house. They lived outside the city and we were only for such a trip. Because of work, sometimes we couldn't even walk on weekends, and here is such an occasion to take a break from the hustle and bustle and spend a vacation with our family. They have a large two-story house. On the second floor there are 2 guest bedrooms, a large living room and a tiny library. It all started with strange sounds, as if someone was walking up the stairs, turning the pages of books in the library. There were only grandparents in the house besides us, but they only sometimes went up to the second floor. They couldn't do it anymore. Every night we went to bed in fear, and almost every night we heard these sounds. One night I woke up to Nick screaming, a hoarse cry, as if his throat had been squeezed. I tried to bring him to his senses, but he just opened his mouth and waved his hands. I was afraid to run downstairs for help, afraid to leave him alone. After a while it was all over, and he told me what happened. He woke up in the middle of the night from the fact that it suddenly became difficult to breathe. He tried to wake me up, but it was as if his body was chained to the bed. It was impossible to even raise his hand. He couldn't scream either. And then he saw him, a guy with black curls in a tuxedo, who was standing by the window. "You took my place," he said, and took a step towards Nick. "This room belongs to me," and another step. The guy grabbed Nick by the throat and started strangling him. He tried his best to remove his hands and scream, but only a wheeze came out. We didn't know about any secrets of the house. It was built on a place where nothing had ever been before. We mentioned this to Grandma, but she didn't tell us anything new. She said we were making it up. Only a few years later, when I told my mother about the story, she immediately put forward an assumption. "I think it was Jack." "Jack?" my husband and I asked again at that time. My grandparents had another child, a boy named Jack. At the age of 15, he fell madly in love with a girl and declared that he wanted to marry her. Parents didn't like the girl, and he was still too young for such a step. Grandmother, with her usual briskiness, announced this to her son. Then the young man offered his beloved to jump off a cliff to be together forever. He dressed in a groom's suit, she put on a wedding dress. Grandma never told the story, because she thinks she's guilty. We were in shock. Years have passed. Not so long ago, my husband and I were on a picnic not far from this house, next to the railway bridge over the river, along which freight trains were passing. And at some point, just for a moment, at the beginning of the bridge I saw the painfully familiar figure of a young man in a tuxedo. The thought immediately pierced in my brain. This is where everything happened, when there were no trains or railways, but only this cliff.